On today's wrestling news, Tessa Blanchard returns.
Max Dupree's maximum male models have been revealed on SmackDown.
We've got new contenders for Money in the Bank.
And Jon Moxley's next challenger has been revealed on Rampage.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the news time? Yes, my name is Phil Chambers and I'm joined by Gareth Morgan to talk all things wrestling news. But before we get into it, make sure you like the video, comment down below what you think of all of today's stories, subscribe to the channel, and links to each story is in the description. Click the timestamps and off you go. But first up, Tessa Blanchard. It's been a long time since we've had some Tessa Blanchard news, but she's back. So she has announced her return to the ring after an almost 2-year absence from wrestling. She's coming back with Hurricane Pro Wrestling. It was announced on Twitter with a big poster of her front and center right in the middle. Good choice. So no matches announced as of yet, but the poster also has a former Impact Knockout Lady Frost, former NXT star Steph DeLander, former Ring of Honor star Miranda Elise all on it, and Frost versus DeLander versus Danny B has been announced for their women's title, so it's none of them, so it could well be a Miranda Elise. But this was announced by Hurricane Pro Wrestling. They also was kind of teasing a big announcement before this, just saying, like, shocking, the wrestling world is always a good thing. Is it though? Is it though? Are you sure? Yeah. So Tessa, in case you've been living under a rock, has been out of action for about 2 years, almost. She was obviously former Impact Knockouts champion. She was a former Impact World champion when she beat Sami Callihan, and then she got fired and stripped of the title during the pandemic because she went to Mexico and then just didn't come to work anymore. And they couldn't come to terms with doing stuff together or her dropping the title or anything. So it ended up with Impact stripping her of the title and firing her from her contract. And nowhere has booked her ever since, really, in America at least. I think she had a couple of things in Mexico because of allegations of bullying backstage and, of course, racial slurs towards La Rosa Negra. And so, yeah, she's not got the best reputation, let's say, behind the scenes. And this is the first time we've seen her almost 2 years. It's been a long time.
Yeah, there was talk, remarkably at one time, with the likes of WWE and AEW both potentially being interested in bringing her aboard, and now it's that talk, and then very quickly,
very quiet, quite quickly.
Extinguished that one. But this is news. It's probably all I can really add to this. If you are a Blanchard fan, then go you. But if you're not, then just move on. Just move on with your lives, and just focus on some maximum male models instead. Because wow, Phil, we got it. It happened. It happened on SmackDown, and it was.
It definitely happened.
I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but it was great. It was great in the sense of if you know what to expect when you're coming into the WWE show just in general, this is just the typical kind of craziness that you're probably going to get nowadays, and I
wouldn't be expecting world-class television from this, but if you want nonsense in your wrestling, then there's plenty of that.
World-class in a certain category, let's say, because Max Dupree came out, the Pokemon himself. He was stood in the middle of the ring, and he was finally ready to introduce his maximum male model clients to Texas. It was great. So the first person that he brought down,
like a month that they've been teasing it or whatever.
Exactly, and he just kept saying, "Nah, I'm not doing it. I'm going to bring these people to SmackDown. It's not going to happen. We're doing it on my watch." And it was his watch now. And the first person he brought down was not Mace. No, not Mace, that guy from Retribution. It was Massey. Mace.
Not Mace the Face, as it was on like a dark match or whatever it was.
Did not go down well, Mace the Face, surprisingly. I know, what a world. But Mace came down and he was living his best life. He was pouncing and he was just flexing. There was a lot of flexing going down on WWE programming recently. And Dupree then started reeling off all these attributes, like saying how titillating his muscles were and his ankles and his svelte 36-inch waist and things like that. It was all so surreal. And then after this, so if you thought it couldn't get any crazier, Mansoor, or Swar, whatever his name was, came down. He's not Mansoor anymore, not that guy. He came down dressed as, I think Pat McAfee put it, looking like not Michael Hamflet.
Yep, that's what Pat McAfee said.
No, Michael Hayes. Looking like Michael Hamflett in the 50s. No, Michael Hayes in the 50s up to now, and Michael Cole pretty much just did what I did. He just didn't know what to do, and he just said, I can't really add anything to this. It's insane. And they then both came out together and flexed and posed, and everyone was booing, but I was cheering at home. I thought this was great. It was insane, and I want to see more of these models, and we probably are going to see more of them, because next week it's been announced that we're going to see the Maximum Male models reveal their 2022 tennis wear collection, because if you weren't aware, it's Wimbledon season, and they're probably going to be dressed out in full white, and this is ridiculous. I love it.
They are going to titillate the juices of your guilty pleasures.
Yeah, because it said it on the Titantron, so that is literally the tagline for this group right now. I love it. It's great.
This is so dumb. So dumb. And I also love that they waited like a month or whatever doing those teases on SmackDown. It's like, oh, I'm not ready to do them here, doing them on my terms. And then the two people that they announced are the two people that we already knew was going to be in it. It's like, it's not even like they waited to add a third member or something.
No.
And I also just absolutely adore when Marseille came out, and he just looks really awkward. He doesn't look comfortable in this role yet, I'd say. And he went to like put his glasses, like to take his glasses off and go like that with the thing in his mouth to look seductive, and the glasses just went like that, and he was like
it's that thing where you're trying to get the straw if you're making eye contact with somebody in the club, and it's like
yeah. And he's just like, oh, I'll just play this out, that's what I'm meant to do. So
just coincidentally there, Phil, I think you've just passed your audition to become a Maximum Male model later down the road. I think that's going to happen. So it was just...
I'd be all for it.
I love this. Go check it out. It's great. If you've not already, it'll just fill your Saturday with joy.
Absolutely ready for more of this. Yeah. So dumb. But yeah, I love it. It's... I don't know. Just go watch it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let us know down in the comments what you think of Maximum Male models, because I am fascinated to know what people think of this.
And send Phil your best blue steel.
Indeed. It is very much like someone has just pitched Zoolander to Vince, and because he's been living under his WWE bubble for years and years and years, he has no idea what it's like, and he's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like bloody Scarface with Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
He has no idea about pop culture things, and you can just pitch anything to him and get it past him. Madness.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of SmackDown, there was some Money in the Bank things happening.
Oh yeah.
So the show opened with like a bunch of all the Money in the Bank contenders doing their big promo things that they do to lead into Money in the Bank matches. And that ended up being a big battle royale, obviously. And Baron Corbin won that. And then later on, there was a bunch of arguments with Corbin and Madcap Moss and things. And it ended up with a 4-way to close out SmackDown of Madcap Moss versus Ezekiel versus The Miz versus Happy Corbin for the winner to get that final place in the Money in the Bank match. And Madcap Moss won, and he is in the match. So, the Money in the Bank lineup for tonight, because it's on a Saturday, isn't it? Is Seth Rollins, Sheamus. What are you doing, dog? Drew McIntyre, Omos, Riddle, Sami Zayn, Madcap Moss. He's crawling up into my armpit for some reason.
I thought Sami Zayn was crawling up into her armpit there for a second.
It's going to be the men's the Money in the Bank ladder match. Sami Zayn, please. Sami Zayn, please. Sami Zayn, please. Sami Zayn, please. And the SmackDown Women's Money in the Bank match is going to be Lacey Evans versus Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Asuka versus Shotzi versus Becky Lynch. And then we're also going to have the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships, the Usos versus the Street Profits. They did a Ask Me Anything thing on SmackDown last night, which was quite entertaining. There's going to be a United States Championship match, obviously, Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. And then we've got the SmackDown Women's Championship match, Ronda Rousey versus Natalya. And we've got the Raw Women's Championship match, Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Looking like a fun show. I don't think we've got a stream for it because unfortunately everyone is busy this time. So it's the first time we've missed a stream in a long time.
Yeah, and
but still, enjoy the show.
It should be a good one. It's one of them. It's Money in the Bank rarely ever properly under-delivers. Do you know what I mean? It looks like a decent enough card. I don't know. I felt they'd missed a treat not having a surprise entrant like there. Just, do you know what I mean? Having that vacant spot for the actual event. Somebody could just get taken out like that happened a couple of years ago. Not Sami Zayn again. Don't you dare.
Sami Zayn.
Don't you dare. So yeah, I don't know.
To win.
I'm still excited. You should be excited. It'll be a fun show.
It's always fun.
But speaking of fun things, fun developments that get you excited and titillate your they don't do that. They don't titillate your juices or whatever it is. Brody King was on Rampage, obviously, and he was in the middle of this Royal Rampage Rumble Battle Royale thing that Tony Khan
Royal Battle
Royal Rampage Battle of Royalness, that one. And obviously had 2 rings, 15 people in each ring, and like people came down like separate. It was a bit convoluted, a bit like a lot of stuff going on, but in the end it came down to Darby Allin and Brody King. Like you had all these incredible stars in this match: Adam Page, Orange Cassidy, loads of people. And it ended up with these 2, which is quite exciting, because I thought either one of those, that's a bit fresh. That's somebody, whoever wins this match gets a shot at Jon Moxley for the interim AEW World Championship. That's new, that's fresh. And we had Brody King then put a sleeper, like he launched Darby Allin over the top rope. He had him in a sleeper and just choked him out lifeless and just dropped him. So Brody King was your number 1 contender out of nowhere. I was like, wow, this is new. What a world we live in. So that then obviously led people to thinking, yes, he's going to have a future championship shot. But that shot was then announced not long after this. He's going to be going down on Dynamite. It's going to be Jon Moxley taking on Brody King for the interim AEW World Championship. And then we had even more stuff announced for this Dynamite as well, because we're going to have Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. They're going to be chasing like gold contendership by taking on the Butcher and the Blade. So they're probably going to win that match.
That's going to be fun.
That will be a fun match. That'll be, yeah. It just always is when you got the Butcher and the Blade on a Dynamite. They're always all-timer Dynamites. Ask Michael Hamflett. It's the second time as we mentioned on this show. It always happens. Just ask him. We're also going to have another tag bout. It's going to be Thunderstorm, Tony Storm, and Thunder Rosa. They're going to be taking on Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose. That's going to be another fun tag match, I guess. Just at this point, it just feels like another AEW way of just going, yeah, let's just put the women in the corner and just like not really build much about it. But the actual workers within that match are epic, so it should be really, really fun. Keep your eyes on that. And last thing that was announced was Christine Cage and Luchasaurus are going to be teaming up together. They're going to be, appearing together. It's not like sure if it's actually going to be a match or anything like that, but they're going to be there. Obviously, Luchasaurus turned to the dark side last week and killed Serpentico. Luchasaurus. Get out, Phil. Get out. But yeah, so that's going to happen. So it seems like a lot of tag team focus coming into the show, and obviously that huge main event with Jon Moxley defending for the first time his interim AEW World Championship against a new, fresh number 1 contender in Brody King. I'm a big fan of that.
I do like that match a lot. That is going to be a lot of fun. And it's also got Scorpio Sky versus Wardlow for the TNT title.
How could I forget? How could I forget that? Obviously. There you go. What a show this is. My goodness.
I know. Big Dynamite next week. Looking forward to it. But let's finish off with your Twitter questions. So the first one of the day comes from T on a B, who says, will Tony Khan ever have a match? Could the MGF thing lead to one? He probably shouldn't, but it must be mega tempting for a huge wrestling fan with some of the best wrestlers under his employment. I've not actually thought about this before somehow, but you know what Tony Khan's like? I could 100% see this happening.
In 9 days! No, I just... he could... Because it's his playground, he can do whatever the hell he wants. But history has taught us it's not exactly a wise idea at the best of times to do that. But I'd much prefer, like, if this does continue to be a big thing, a big storyline, that Tony Khan has his own champion. Do you know what I mean? Like his own person that he kind of installs to be his fighter against MJF. Do you know what I mean? It's like he could bring in somebody, bring in Adam Page and go, right, you defend AEW's honor against MJF and I'll be in your corner, I'll be your manager. He could do as many loud, excessive, incredibly enthusiastic promos as he likes during the program, but just don't get physical. And if you do get physical, maybe just like hit MJF with a chair or something in the match. I just don't have an actual match, would be my personal opinion on that.
I could just see it happening. Tony Khan's a madman. He said at the beginning of AEW that he wasn't going to be an on-screen character, and he's obviously been on screen quite a lot since then because he just loves cutting his mad ranting promos, and he's just a mental person, like, with the energy of a crazy child with ADHD. It's like I could 100% see him doing this. I've got to be honest, if I was in that position though, I don't think I'd be able to refrain from getting in the ring. I'd be like, I can go and play with my favourite toys, woo! So the next question comes from Team Dragon Squad Sleepy something.
Sleepy something.
It says, if Cody comes back and wins the Royal Rumble next year, what number would you put him in? Would you put him in as a surprise number 30, or would you show his work ethic and throw him in the deep end at number 1?
I think Cody would want to be number 1, wouldn't he? He'd want that full Iron Man thing, first to the end, and just have that record. But WWE quite uninspired when it comes to this kind of like development recently, and they tend to leave it to the last 3 more often than not for the big surprise. So I'd like number 1 because I just want to see as much Cody as possible. It'd be really epic if he came back from injury and proved just how incredible he is for a full match. That'd be awesome. But I think it's more likely it'd probably be like 28, 29, or 30.
I want neither of those. I want him to be number 2 because I want Seth to come out number 1, do his big dancing down to the ring thing, la 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 la, happy, 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 laugh, 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 laugh. And then number 2 hits and it's Cody's music and Seth's face drops. And then him and like both of them end up being from 1 and 2 to the last 2. Like they both get all the way through. Maybe they'll have a bit of scraps here and there as they go through. And then they become the last 2 and then Cody chucks out Seth to go on to Mania.
Yeah,
that's the way I'd do it.
I changed your mind. That one. Do that one. I want that one now. You convinced me, Phil. That easy. Yeah.
That's what I want. Yeah. And the final question of the day comes from Jeff Beers, who says, best mullets in pro wrestling? Simple question.
Can't say that anymore, can I? It's a tough one because I think modern day it's not as common, so you don't have that many to choose from. But if you're looking into the past, you got the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, right there. Like that was the mullet that started it all in my mind. What about you, Phil?
That was. I went to Eddie Guerrero first. His dark, because it was so like dark as well. Like normally when you get like the blonde mullets. I don't know why I always associate mullets with blondness.
Yeah, it's that kind of rock star. I mean, I'm sure Steve Austin had one, didn't he?
It was just black.
When it was the Hollywood Blondes, did they both have mullets? I'm trying to.
Pillman definitely had a mullet at one point.
We're speaking of like modern ones.
Yeah, another shout out to the modern day mullet.
He's the man. I don't think Griff Garrison's technically got one, has he? He's got more of a Jungle Boy kind of big, bushy hair thing going on.
Let us know in the comments below what your favourite mullets in pro wrestling are. Maybe there's some that surprise us.
Hitting you with the real hard stories here on a Saturday.
Always.
Who's got the best mullet in wrestling?
But that is it. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want, you can follow us over on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers. You can follow Gareth
at GMorgan04.
And you can follow all of us at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I say, comment down below what you think of all of today's stories and your favourite mullets in pro wrestling and where you want Cody to return in the Royal Rumble and all of that stuff. And go watch a bunch more videos. We've got ups and downs for SmackDown and Rampage coming up later. And then tomorrow we're going to have ups and downs for Money in the Bank and all of that good stuff as well. And there's loads of other videos too. So just go watch loads and loads and loads and loads of videos because it pays my wages. And most importantly, have yourselves a bloody good day.
Bye-bye.